going to look at a topic today that in many ways is wildly popular in the world. It's the idea of starting your life over. Now, the first thing that we have to look at, and we're going to examine the idea through a minimum of 4, maybe 5 stories in order to round out and give us a nice, broad, intellectual and emotional view of the subject. The first thing you have to ask yourself is, if I'm trying to start my life over, is it because I'm delighted with the one I've got? Is it? No. I want to start over because I've hit a dead end somewhere. Maybe a dead end in a relationship, maybe a dead end with my ambition because it's a diminishing return. Maybe it's a dead end with all of the knowledge that I've acquired over the years, of whatever order it may be, believing it would bring me into some lasting relationship with contentment, and it hasn't done it. And so you see all the time in the world the idea of get up, fight for yourself, get up, fight for yourself. And in the world, that's not a bad idea, except that when you get up and fight for yourself, and then you get knocked down, then you get up and you fight for yourself, and then you get knocked down, and then you get up and you fight. I could do that for 30 minutes. It'd be funny eventually. Maybe there's a world in which you don't have to get up again and again and again from being knocked down by something, that you create the moment that you name what starting over is. You say, I'm going to start over with a relationship. You get into another relationship. I'm going to start over with a relationship. You get into another relationship. How come? Well, because you go wherever you go with it. You take into every moment with you a nature that brings an inevitable conclusion to its own efforts, which seems to take time when in fact, if you could understand the effort, you'd realize that the moment you name anyone or anything as being the solution to your unhappiness in life, you have named what your unhappiness will be later down the road. It's a law. You've had the experience 100 million times in scale. So what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about what it really means to start over. Starting over that has no disappointment in it at all. How many of you have ever been disappointed when you started over, only to find out that you may have changed the conditions, but you didn't change the consciousness responsible for the relationship with them? So the first thing we have to take a nice deep breath, because some of this is not going to fall on happy camp in you. What do you think the first thing is that has to happen if we're actually going to examine and really know from our own nature, not because of what the speaker says, what starting over is? What do you think the first thing that has to happen is? You have to give up the idea that you know what starting over is. That's the last thing that occurs to anybody. I know what starting over is. It's getting rid of you. Losing 15 pounds. Getting a 6-pack set of abs. Throwing off the addiction to chocolate or alcohol. Getting a better house. That's starting over. No, it's changing conditions. It's not changing the consciousness that always runs into its own creation.